Welcome to Activations with JJ, Economics and Prosperity on the New Earth, Part 3. Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to have you here to co-create with me as we embark on Part 3 of this new series I started just a little while ago. If you're listening to this way after the fact, I started this in October 2021. And I just felt like it was a great time to start addressing some of these issues that are affecting us because we are in the midst of creating this new earth. We are in the midst of creating everything about it. And it's our choice as a collective how we want to move forward. So I think it's pretty appropriate to start talking about energy exchanges and economics, like the title of this says, and how to manifest, because all of that makes a better place when we can improve those things for all of us, for the collective and for each individual on the planet. So thank you so much for being here to, again, co-create with me. I am JJ. I am a multidimensional channel, an activation guide, and a starseed linguist. And I absolutely love to be able to come onto the podcast, share with you some of my thoughts surrounding the new earth, the ascension, the shift, whatever you want to call it. And if you've just found me, if this is the first time you've ever listened to my channel or my podcast, I just want to say welcome. We would love to have you continue to co-create with all of us here, all of the listeners and myself. I do have a few other things I just want to let you know. Some of the different podcast episodes that I put out every week, I do an energy update where I bring through a different energy. It could be angelic, it could be elemental, it could be anything, and it's really fun as we move forward here just to hear things that are comforting. That's always the intention I set, is that what we hear will be for our greatest and highest good. It will help us as we're all on this journey together collectively, and it will help us as we kind of explore this new territory for us. I feel like it's new but old, honestly. In addition to that, on my YouTube channel only, I have several meditations, guided meditations, and light language activations, including some Pleiadian energy calibrations, some Arcturian light codes, and then, like I said, just various guided meditations from different energies like the Divine Feminine. I have several of those, and they're very beautiful. So if you haven't had a chance to listen after you get done with this one, make sure first to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, or if you're on the podcast, feel free to leave a review and a rating on Apple. And I just really appreciate that energy exchange. If you are not already following me on Instagram, I would love to see you over there as well. I'm just starting to launch some new videos there. Some different reels is what I'm going to be doing. Or I can just put out little snippets if you're needing something in the middle of the day and you just want to hop on there and see. It's just kind of to give you that feel of the whole podcast just in a little tiny 30-second video. So would love to have you over there. It's just Activations with JJ. And as we shift into the topic for today, and actually I have two different topics that I want to address today. I want to remind you this is part 3 of the Economics and Prosperity on the New Earth series. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to 1 and 2, please feel free to do so. If you're listening to this after the fact, I may actually have several other ones out there. So just take a look at the playlist. I always create a playlist on YouTube. All right, so today I want to talk about 2 different things that have come up into my view. I always feel like I attract the topics that I wanted, that I sort of need to talk about. My higher self just sends them to me in little messages. If you heard my part 2, that's what happens. It's just my everyday life. So lately, as I've been doing sessions, something that's come up a lot with several different people, and it's definitely something that I can relate to, is regarding just different choices they have in life with their careers and with their jobs or however they're bringing an income in. It has to do with, what do I do next? How do I, what's my purpose? Where should I go? That type of thing. And they usually just come to me with just kind of that questioning feeling like, I'm not sure what to do and I just need a little bit of guidance. And I'm actually happy to do that. I love doing my one-on-one sessions. I love bringing through people's higher selves, because that's what I often do, is I'm bringing through your higher self or just your star family. Your star family always has your best interest at heart. I always feel that the ones that I tap into, I always set that intention, and that's what comes through. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And when these people have come to me these last little while, I've really felt this, almost like this deprogramming that's happening collectively to all of us. And I've talked about this before. If you go to I had a series called Ascension Diaries that I did 12 episodes with. And if you've listened to those, you know that I talked about just deprogramming from some of the systems that have been prevalent on the planet for many, many, many decades and millennia almost. A lot of that is related to what our concept of God is and our concept of how to move forward in life. And really what I talk about is how we are shifting as a collective from being kind of a subservient, master servant type of a thing with God, as you could say, to more of a creator status where we are in control. We are creating our own lives. I'm not against using angels or associating with angels or angelic beings, or even if you have a concept of God that resonates with you. I'm not against any of that. I just like to let people know, listen, my personal view of God is not of somebody who's going to say, I know better than you what your path should be. And that's kind of the feeling that I get as people are asking me. I feel like they're deprogramming a little bit from that sense of a childlike state, almost like you're kind of like, well, what should I do? I need to ask a different person outside of myself, or there's an authority outside of me who knows what I should do, or who knows the quote unquote right thing to do. Here's my personal opinion on that. As we move forward on the new earth with regards to what career path we choose, or how we receive energy exchanges, how we make an income, and how we prosper, all of this is up to you to create. So there's not like a prescribed way to do it. I almost even don't feel like there's a right or wrong way to do it. Whatever you choose to do is the right thing for you. My biggest piece of advice as I do my sessions one-on-one is trust yourself. You are a divine being. Trust yourself. Tap into that inner wisdom. You will know what to do. And when they do, I'm there to validate, because I'm always there to support that you had a feeling, that you had an intuition. I'm always like, yes, follow that intuition. Follow that feeling. It's right. I think we just need more cheerleaders in our life who are telling us that, who are not causing us to doubt ourselves and to doubt our instincts, especially if we've done a lot of healing, because sometimes, yes, your instincts are rooted in possibly subconscious fears. But I feel like so many of us have arrived at a point where we've done some healing work and we've kind of addressed those issues, that it's time to take off the training wheels and really just go for it and really try out our inner wisdom from a healthy place, from a place that's heart-centered, from a place of love rather than fear. Because we've overcome those things. We really have. Give yourself some credit for what you've done and how far you've come. Start to take your future into your own hands and go within your heart and decide what you want out of your life. And then we're going to talk about this in the second part of the podcast here. And then use your energy to manifest that. Rather than thinking about all the fears and all the doubts, we're going to use our energy to manifest that. So that brings me to point number 2, which is all about manifesting from the void. If you've ever heard that term, it's all over the place in the spiritual community and in the manifesting community. There are lots of people who've talked about it. And as you know, Abraham Hicks is probably one of the first and foremost authorities on manifesting, or at least one of the places that's a good go-to that has some really awesome information about manifesting. Even way back in the day when this was probably, I want to feel like it was like 15 years ago, when The Secret came out. That was another place we could go to learn about manifesting, to learn about how what's inside our mind and how our personal thoughts and everything guide our outside reality. And we are in control. I think, like I said before, that is the biggest thing you can learn. So what is manifesting from the void? I think most of us know what manifesting is, but the void part is probably a little bit unfamiliar to some of you. The void for me, and I'm just going to tell it like it's my personal viewpoint. If you've got a different experience with it, I honor that. This is just my opinion about what the void is. But when I go to the void, it's definitely somewhere I go kind of like just in a guided meditation in a meditative state where it's all black for me for the most part, except what I decide to bring in. So to me, it's like a blank slate. It's a place of beginning. It's like what the universe was before everything was created. It's that same idea. For me, it's also a place where there's just raw energy to be molded and shaped. As you are a creator, this is what you get to play with. I remember reading a Dolores Cannon QHHT experience of one of her clients who talked about going to a place that was like practice for the void. It was actually a planet where all they did was practice creating. It didn't actually happen in the physical, but we have chosen to come to this place where we can manifest physically. This isn't just an ethereal realm. We have actual bodies. We have this place we can actually take what's in our mind and what's in energy, and it will, as above, so below, it will come to us. That's the fun game that we got to come play down here. So many of us are like stressed out about it, but I feel so much of a sense of play regarding this subject. As much as everybody's stressed out, like, I don't know how to manifest, or I need to manifest this, and we put so much tension into it. If you didn't listen to Archangel Jophiel last week, I highly recommend doing it. That was an amazing transmission all about creating, and it's super related to what I'm talking about. One thing that came to me was, I know a lot of you out there have probably tried to manifest and will say to me, well, I've tried so many times, and either it didn't come the way I wanted to, or it didn't come, to the timeline I wanted it to. But I have to tell you, cut yourself some slack. Those of you who are listening to this podcast, and you've been told this many times, not just from me, but from other energies that I've channeled, you're way showers. You are the very first ones to get into this and to really dive into this and to experiment and to try this out. Once you've got it down, you're paving the way for the collective, and it's going to be a little easier for them. But you're really igniting this and setting a tone for this on the planet. So it might be a little rough at first. There might be some hits and there might be some misses. But the idea is to keep trying. I will say, and I've talked about this in past episodes, that about 6 months ago, I was listening to Lee Harris. He's an amazing intuitive. If you haven't seen him already, he's on YouTube. It's Lee Harris Energy. And he had been talking to his guides, and they mentioned that the manifesting on this planet was going to be 9 times faster than it had been previously. And that was 6 months ago. I've completely experienced it. My manifestation has happened much more rapidly. So, you're asking me, well, how come it's not working for me? Or what do I need to do differently? What do I need to know? Here's my opinion. When you go to the void, this place that I was describing for you, and by the way, I'm really excited because at the end of this podcast, I'm going to do a little activation and guided meditation to help you learn how to connect with the energy of the void so it can become familiar to you. So stick around for that at the very end. But anyway, when you go to the void, you're working with raw energy. And my personal opinion is that sometimes, as we're, again, way showers, we're just trying this out. We've never had anybody show it to us. We're experimenting. Sometimes the energy we're working with isn't what you could call a pure energy. Maybe it's got some lower vibe stuff going on with it. Maybe it's a little bit tainted by what we're still healing with, or even just what the collective is healing. But when you work with a little bit less pure energy, it can come out a little differently than you expected. It may not be totally and completely different than what you wanted to manifest, but there may be differences. The timeline might be different. You may have to wait longer. So if you were to think about it and set an intention, the one that I set when I go into the void is that the energy that I work with is in its most pure form. And so that's kind of where I feel like discernment comes into play, because when we're in line with that pure form of energy, that basically it's the raw materials that creator beings use to create energetically, and then it manifests physically. That's what it is. And for some of us, like I said, it's a new thing. It's a new experience. we have to sort of develop discernment as we become used to what it looks like. So again, go ahead and play with it. It's not going to hurt anything to play with it. It's not going to hurt anything. Try manifesting a number, maybe, or try manifesting a dollar amount, or try manifesting just seeing something or having somebody call you. All of those things are ways that you can begin to test the waters, that you can begin to experiment and have personal experiences with manifesting. That's my advice to you, is just have fun and play and give it a try. There's nothing to fear in doing it. You were born to be a creator. You have the creator abilities within you. So that being said, I would love to be able to move into our guided meditation for this episode. And the intention that I set is that we will learn how to connect with what the void is, that place of creation, as well as learn what it feels like to play with some of that raw energy. And I will do some visualizations in this guided meditation related to that. So I want you to go ahead and close your eyes and just get into a really relaxed state as we begin to form in our mind's eye this place called the void. Taking a moment to bring into your mind's eye just a dark place. Not dark as in a bad place, but a place of new beginnings, a place of birth. Almost the womb of the universe where the creation comes forth from. Again, just taking some deep breaths and setting the intention to connect. Connect with the void. This place feels comfortable and it feels familiar. And as you begin to notice this place of darkness, I want you to take some of that essence, that raw energy, and like putty in your hands, I want you to imagine yourself playing with it, shaping it and molding it as you would, and also infusing it with light, infusing it with colors, infusing it with shapes. Just like a blank canvas, you get to decide what this ball of putty will become. And when you have that thing that you are creating complete, I want you to again notice the details. Exactly what does this creation of yours look like? Feel like? Maybe you can see it emits colors, lights, wavelengths. All of those details you're filling in. And finally, when it's ready, you simply finish with the words, "As above, so below." And you release it to now materialize in the physical world. You continue to stay within the void for a few moments longer. Sensing a feeling of empowerment as you step into your creator role. And saying in your mind, "I am a powerful creator." Moving from this place in your mind's eye, I want you to begin to now form a vision of yourself in the physical form on the planet, living your everyday life. And all of a sudden, the thing that you created in the void appears somehow in your life. And I want you to notice how it feels. As you realize that what you created above or energetically is now manifested below in a physical form. Taking a deep breath now to bring your awareness back to your body, but setting the intention that you will be able to visit this place anytime you desire. Thank you so much for taking the time to co-create with me. As always, the divine creator within me honors the divine creator within you. Namaste.